This is my laryngeal model right here. And you can see this in this view, it would be as if you were standing looking at a person, and if you took away their skin and the membranes, you would see the structure of the larynx like this, anteriorly. And if I were to flip it posteriorly, you can see now more muscles. And then this is a lateral view and a superior view. So going back to the anterior view, here you can see the hyoid bone, right here, the thyroid cartilage, the cricoid cartilage, some of the epiglottis. Let me flip it posteriorly to show the epiglottis here. And again, the thyroid cartilage, the cricoid cartilage, the arytenoids here, and the hyoid bone. So with this posterior view of the larynx, you can see some rubber bands which are representing the intrinsic muscles of the larynx. The first one I want to start with is the posterior cricoarytenoid, which can be seen here to here, connecting, as its name suggests, the cricoid cartilage to the arytenoid cartilage, and it serves to rotate the arytenoid so that the vocal processes open, and it stabilizes and fixes the arytenoids in place. So when it tenses, it pulls the arytenoids open, and it is the only muscle that serves as an abductor, which would open the vocal folds, which we can see here better in a superior view. Now I have represented the vocal folds, or the thyroarytenoid muscles, with two rubber bands because they are actually made up of two muscle masses, the thyrovocalis, which tenses the vocal folds, and the thyromuscularis, which relaxes the vocal folds. So in here you can see there's two on both sides. These muscles regulate the longitudinal tension of the vocal folds. So if they were to stretch and tense, they would stretch and tense in this way. Now, going laterally again, you can see some of the lateral cricoarytenoid, which is an adductor. Here you see it on the cricoid cartilage. It goes up, and you can see it here. And if I turn back posteriorly, you can see it a little better right here on the arytenoid. As I said, it's an adductor. It rotates the vocal process towards the midline. So when it tenses, it rotates the vocal process towards, here, maybe this view is better, towards the midline, which would be here. Now we're back to a posterior view, so we can see the interarytenoids, which, as again the name suggests, they run between the arytenoids and are connected to them. They are also adductors. They're made up of two muscles again. This one on top is the transverse interarytenoid, which I've connected with tape to pull off and show you the oblique interarytenoids here. And they serve to anchor the arytenoids and adduct the vocal folds again. So I can show you here, if they were to tense, they would go like this, bring the arytenoids closer. Now I'll show you in superiorly, they tense and the vocal folds come together to adduct, AD. Now the last muscle I have to show you is on that anterior view again. So if we flip it around, you can see a little more clearly the cricothyroid muscle, which tenses between the cricoid arch and the thyroid lamina here, cricoid thyroid, and it slides the thyroid cartilage forward, Functionally, when these muscles tense, they help to elevate pitch. So if this muscle were to tense, it would slide and pull the thyroid cartilage forward. My hand's in the way. Let's see if I can hold it on top. This muscle tenses and it pulls it forward. All right, so now I want to talk about joints. There are two joints that are important in the larynx. One of them you can see on this lateral view right here is represented by a paper fastener. Is the cricothyroid joint, which pivots and allows for increased separation between the thyroid and the cricoid. So it pivots, glides forward and down, and then it allows for that increased separation, and then allows for those two cartilages to articulate. And now if we rotate again posteriorly, you can see the cricoarytenoid joint in the back, sort of. It is behind the posterior cricoarytenoid muscles in this model. You can see them again, paper fasteners, which produce a rocking movement of the arytenoids. The arytenoids, they can move up and out or down and in. So up and out, down and in. In being towards the vocal folds, towards midline, or up and out on this joint. And that is my laryngeal model. I'll show you again in all of the views. This is posterior. This is laterally. This is an anterior view. And again, an inferior view.